Hi, welcome back. We're going to today talk about different ways to prove triangles congruent. So in the beginning, we talked about how a triangle has three angles and three sides and how we would have to show that all those corresponding parts were congruent to the other triangle. So we're going to cut our work in half today. We're going to find out about 5 rules that makes that task much easier. So instead of, like I said, 3 sides and 3 angles, we're going to have shortcuts. Okay, so if I ever talk about what are the shortcuts to proving triangles congruent, this is the lesson I'm referring to. So I'm just going to write shortcuts to prove triangles are congruent. Okay, so the first one is the easiest one. It's pretty awesome. All it says is SSS. What it says is all 3 sides have to be corresponding. So I can do this with the different colors. I mean, there's the markings on it, obviously. So if you have the situation where all 3 sides are corresponding, you don't even have to worry about the angles. It automatically makes the triangles congruent. So again, if you see 3 sides, you don't check angles. You just say, oh, they're congruent by side, side, side. And we abbreviate it SSS, which stands for the side, side, side. Normally, I don't even say the word postulate. Like I said, I say SSS. Now, for the next one, this one's going to be called ASA for angle, side, angle. Now, here's how this works. Obviously, you have to have 2 angles. Now, the position of the side is very important. I want you to notice I have the 2 angles and I have the side that's directly in between them. So I have angle, side, and an angle. So again, when you have this is just another way to prove these triangles are congruent. Now, we don't know anything about angle B or side AB or side BC, and that's okay because it's going to be congruent no matter what. Okay, let's move on to the third one. It's called SAS. So I bet you guys can predict what the S's stand for. They stand for the sides. Notice those 2 sides are directly next to each other. And the angle, like here, the angle is directly in between the 2 sides. So here, the angle has to be directly in between the 2 sides. So some people get confused on this, and so don't draw this. And they think that's angle, side, angle. Well, no, it's not. Because you have a side and you have a side, and you would need the angle that is formed by those 2 sides. So this angle is in the wrong place. So that does not work for side, angle, side. And actually this one, that combination doesn't work for anything. Moving on, we have angle, angle, side. Okay, so we had angle, side, angle. So how is this one different? So let's look at the angles. Now before, the side was directly in between, but now the side is not directly in between. Okay, so you have the angle and you have the angle, but notice here in the middle, no side. Where's the side? The side is like on around the corner. So it's an angle, angle, and a side. And every year kids are saying, I'm never going to remember these. You know what? You will. It becomes easy. And this is a very easy lesson. So far, let's just make this quick little side list. We have side, 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 angle, side, angle, side, angle, an angle, angle, side. And usually someone always says, can I write side, angle, angle? And you can. It's the same thing. Now, I want to notice that we're using lots of A's and lots of S's. And usually kids ask, can we have like an ASS? Haha. Can we have an ASS theorem? And it just works out that we don't. It's not because it's a bad word. It's just because it doesn't work. Now we have a variety of an ASS theorem, and that is called the HL. And I'll show you why it's just a variety of it. This theorem only works when you have a hypotenuse and a leg. Now, in order to have the hypotenuse, you have to have a right angle. So, you might want to write down this must have a right angle. Okay, so I have my hypotenuse, I have my right angle, and I have a leg of the triangle. Now, a leg could be either side, but the two triangles have to have the same side in common. Okay, so the reason I say this is a twist on the ASS theorem, because you have two sides and an angle. So it appears to be ASS or SSA. But this only works if it's a right triangle. So again, if I were to draw a triangle that looks more isosceles or acute, and I have this situation I just drew, that doesn't work. It's not the same thing at all. So I will show you a video in class that shows how this can be proven incorrect, and the video does a great job of showing you that. A quick way for me to show you is that this side here could be flipped over, and so it could form a different triangle, but the information could still be the same. The video, I just like the video. The video does a nice job. Okay, so let's go back to our little list. Where'd it go? Okay, so you will learn these as we keep going, okay? So there's my list. That's my list of shortcuts. You have notes here. That's your list of shortcuts. Okay, so before I do this bottom section, I like to do the back. Okay, so let's just start and see how it goes. So we have two sides, and then we have the angle. Now we do have a choice of side, angle, side. Is this side, angle, side? And hopefully you're saying no, because the angle is up here. For side, angle, side, the angle would need to be down here. So this one looks like a form of, and I like to just be silly and call it donkey, ASS. It doesn't work. So now I'm on my laptop, which doesn't have all the graphics. These are triangles. All right, so if yours are messed up, you can fill it in. If not, it may be fine on your paper. Okay, anyhow, if you can't prove them congruent, then you're not going to finish the congruency statement. And this is if it's not right, not enough information. So let's just abbreviate that NEI, not enough information. Okay, for part B, now when they share a common side, like EF, both triangles share that. I'm going to mark that information. That is called being reflexive. So when I look at this triangle, I have a side, and I have the angle directly in between. The side, and the angle directly in between. And if you say that to yourself and write it out, it shows you the answer. It's SAS. Okay, Now, you have to finish the congruency statement. So you need to say, what's the first triangle? E, F, P. E, F, P. Okay, so what's going to correspond with E? And that would be on this triangle, and it would be E again. And so what corresponds with F? Well, F does. And what corresponds with P? And that would be R. And that's called your congruency statement. Order matters. So write a note here. Order matters. Okay, so when you look at this piece of information, when you look at this, you should notice you have 2 pieces of information. You need 3, so we have to find something that's already on the picture. And again, we have this reflexive side. So we have all sides. So this one's really easy to realize. If you have all sides, this is just called side, side, side. However, I believe writing the congruency statement is harder for SSS. Okay, I'm going KOM. So a lot of people just start at K and they go back to O, then to L. And guys, that's not right. Okay, so here's how I do this. I start at K and I go down this side that has 3 marks, and then down the side that has 1 mark, and then back up the side that has 2 marks. So I went 3 marks, 1 mark, 2 mark. If you follow that order on this other triangle up here, you will have the correct order. So if I go down the side with 3 marks, then down the side with 1 mark, then back down the side with 2 marks, that is your order. So it's OKL. All right, so that is your congruency statement. All right, so I'm going to make these triangles. Again, is there any hidden information in this picture? And there is. Okay, so we have 3 pieces of information, so that's what we need. So does it follow one of the rules at the top or on the front? So again, you have 2 sides and you have an angle. So is this side angle side or is it donkey? And the angle is not in the correct place. So this one doesn't work. It's NEI. So make sure you don't fill in the congruency statement because you don't fill it in if they're not congruent. Nap. Okay, we have triangle nap and another triangle here. And right away I say we have 3 sides. Now let's make sure, sometimes they try to trick us, make sure all the sides are in common. For instance, I have 3 marks here, 3 marks here, 2 and 2, 1 and 1. Sometimes they try to be super tricky and put the wrong number of slashes. And so you say they're congruent when they're really not. Okay, so I'm doing NAP. So again, I'm going down the side with 1 slash, down the side with 3, and then down the side with 2. We need to follow that order. So down the side with 1, with 3, with 2. So my order is CLK. And since we have all the sides in common, this is a side, side, side. And you're finished. All right, let's make these triangles. Okay, so I only see 2 things given to us, the 2 sides. We need to find something else. There's not a reflexive side like we had here, so we need to keep looking. Hopefully you're seeing an angle. They both have vertical angles, and vertical angles are always congruent. So on this one, I have 2 sides and an angle. So those 2 sides come together and they form that angle, which is good. So I have 2 sides and the angle in between. So I'm going to prove this by SAS. And so that means I need to do my congruency statement now. PFT. So I'm going down the side with 0 marks, up a side with 2 marks, and then down a side with 1 mark. Okay, I want to see if you guys can try that. See if you can figure out the order. Go down a side with no marks, then down a side with 2 marks, and then back. So my order should be GST. All right, let's keep going. Make them triangles. Okay, so when you're doing this one, I see 3 pieces of info given, and I have 2 angles and a side. So try to decide if it works. 2 sides, 2 sides. Hopefully you're seeing a little bit of a problem. On this one down here, the side's in between the angles, but on this one, the side is not in between the angles. The side's like around the corner. So they're trying to be tricky. These two are not the same because the information's in the wrong place. This side should be here, but it's not. So they're not congruent because we don't have enough information. All right, on letter H, and I have 2 angles given to us. We need to find the third piece of information, and that is right here in the middle. So I have 2 angles and a side. So where is the side? Is the side around the corner, or is it directly in between the 2 angles? And hopefully you're seeing, if you have an angle here and an angle here, the side is directly in between. So the side is in the middle. All right, so my order is H, J, I. So you need to go in the same kind of order. So it's going to be K, J, I. All right, letter I. I see 2 pieces of information given, so let's find the vertical angles. All right, so this one's going to work. I have 2 angles provided and a side. So you have 2 choices. Is it angle, side, angle, or angle, angle, side? You guys choose what you think it is. Hopefully, you're saying, well, the side's not there directly in the middle, so my answer needs to be angle, angle, side. So for my congruency statement, I'm going KLJ. So KLJ. So you need to go in corresponding order, so I need to go KLN. MLN. I think I said the wrong letter. MLN. And they keep going. All right, so the next one's tricky, but it's good because it's going to come up. Whenever you see the parallel lines, you need to know that this is a hint for congruent angles. And you might be thinking, how in the world? Well, because we had that chapter recently where you had parallel lines and you had transversals, and they form alternate interior angles. So those angles need to be drawn in. And I also know that here in the middle, I have vertical angles. So I have 2 angles and a side. So when that happens, you have the choice of angle, side, angle, or angle, angle, side. So you need to choose between those 2. And hopefully you're saying angle, side, angle. All right. So if I have BAX, so I'm going to erase some of this so I can see it just a little bit better. BAX what order should you go in? So you're going to go down the parallel side and then across the side with a congruent symbol and then up the side with no marking. All right, so parallel side, congruent side, no marking. So here's my parallel side, congruent side, no marking. So it's DCX. All right, so hopefully that makes sense for you. And when you look at these two, I see 3 pieces of info, and automatically I notice one looks a totally different shape and size. And that's going to happen because we have 2 sides and then the angle around the corner. So that's donkey, ASS or SSA. So this doesn't work in EI. It didn't trick us. All right, so on letter I, I only see 2 things given, 2 sides, so I need to find something else. And there's vertical angles here in the middle. So you have 2 sides and an angle. So you have the choice of, no, really, there's not much choice. You have the choice of donkey or SAS. And so you do have the 2 sides and you have the angle directly in between. So this is SAS. So we're going to go BAC. So you're going down the side with no marks, then down the side with 2 marks, and then down the side with 1 mark. Okay, so it looks like my order should be DEC. Okay, so I know you think we're done, but we're not. We still have these 2 problems to do. Okay, so we're going to keep practicing what we've been doing. And on the first one here, it says, what additional information would you need to prove the triangle is congruent by AAS? So the question's asking, with the triangles provided, where would the angle have to be? Would it have to be at A or would it have to be at C? To be angle, angle, side. So if I put it here at A, this is angle, angle, and the side's in the middle. So that's angle, side, angle. So I know that can't be correct. So on the next one, I know it has to be at C. So it's angle, angle, and then the side. So I need angle C. Now, what information do I need on the other triangle? So do I need D or E? I need D. So it's angle, angle, side. All right, so let's do the next one. Isn't this fun? Haha, okay. So let's do side, angle, side. So you have a side, you have an angle. Where should the other side be? You have 2 choices, BC or AC. And hopefully you're saying the answer is BC. So on the other triangle, I still need, I just goofed up. I'm doing this one. I'm doing side, angle, side. All right. It's okay. I'm doing side, angle, side, stiff angle, side, angle. So I just wrote it in the correct place. So if I need side, angle, side on the second triangle, here's my side, here's my angle. So my other side's right there. So it is DF. And of course, you could write FD if you wanted to. All right, now let's do ASA. Okay, so I have an angle, I have a side, and my other angle needs to be right there next to it. So I would need to know angle A is congruent to angle, side, angle, angle E. Okay, so At least on my picture, some of this information got cut off. All right, so I don't really know what's on your paper, but I'm going to put that information down first. Okay, so if I need HL, I need the hypotenuse, leg, and a right angle. Well, I have the leg and I have the right angle, so I just need the hypotenuse. And I need to put some letters down here. So let's call this M, O, and X, Y, Z. And if your letters are different from mine, then you can use yours or change it to mine. It's whatever you'd like to do. So for HL, I would need to know my two hypotenuse, which mine are called LO and XZ. Now this is for hypotenuse leg, but if I have side angle side, I could still use the side here, the right angle, and just use the other leg to make the side. So I would need to know LM is congruent to XY. All right, so I think we're finally finished with everything. So let me know if you guys have any questions. Send me a message. Come to tutorial. Thanks. Bye.